Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Madeline Pumariega, president of Miami-Dade College. So happy to welcome you all here for this important event. I think we've come to this room before when we were thinking about a talent strategy goal. We sat in this room when we heard from Dr. Portas about Miami is no longer becoming, but has arrived an emerging city along with Dubai and Singapore. And today, we'll have a thoughtful conversation around artificial intelligence and what it means to the future of work. This work is so important, and as I chair the Academic Leaders Council for the Beacon Council, it is really the work of Opportunity Miami and what we're doing with Opportunity Miami. We all are familiar with One Community, One Goal. So many of us that have been in Miami remember those meetings, those roundtables. Miami-Dade College and the school district joined today Dr. Lupe Diaz. We aligned all of our academic programs in schools to One Community, One Goal. And I know we've got our partners from Florida International University, Barry University, St. Thomas University, Florida Memorial University, and so many of us aligned our academic programs to those goals. And then came Opportunity Miami, and that really was about who Miami is today. And this group, the Academic Leaders Council, then focused and worked on a talent management goal to make sure that we had a talent strategy for this community. And we set a goal that 65% of working adults between the ages of 25 and 64 by 2040 would have at least an associate's degree and above. And we did that because that's the class of kindergarten today, of who do we want our community to be. And while we're at a time that 52% of Americans say they don't have trust in higher education, I would subscribe to you that there's no more important time for higher education. There's no doubt that ChatGPT has democratized information. It has not democratized knowledge. And we are in a knowledge economy and will be in a knowledge economy for the foreseeable future. And so we're going to need more of our community to have those credentials of high value, those stackable credentials, whether it's a college credit certificate to an associate's to a bachelor's, in the way that we've approached it here at Miami-Dade College. We're the first in Florida to have delivered on an artificial intelligence curriculum, a college credit certificate, an associate's in science, and a bachelor's of applied science. That builds on we're the first in the nation to have by the National Security Agency a Center of Excellence designation for both our associates and bachelors in cybersecurity. We're leading the nation in putting together the curriculum framework for artificial intelligence alongside Maricopa Community College and Houston Community College. And that's why this topic today and convening all of the leaders here is so important. I want to also recognize the Miami Tech Coalition members that are here. I see Ken Finnerman being led by our Vice President, Antonio Delgado, who leads Everything Tech. And together with our sister organizations, whether it's Barry, St. Thomas, FIU, FMU, we're building those partnerships and pathways. Just a couple of months ago, we signed 4 articulation agreements with FIU, so students have a +1 transition right in and can earn that credential. And we're proud to say that in our institutions, we're doing that in an affordable and accessible way. And that's what the Academic Leaders Council of the Beacon Council focuses on. We want to make sure that businesses in Miami-Dade County and those that are interested in coming to Miami-Dade County know that they have the talent and the educational institutions to work together. And foundational to that is K-12 and Superintendent Doltris, who's been working diligently not only in closing the reading gap, the math gap, but working also on career technical education and pre-apprentice programs in partnership with all of the higher education institutions. We could not do that without the support and the leadership of CareerSource, and Rick Beasley is here with us today, and his support of making sure that we provide businesses in our community the dollars to reinvest and level up their employees is critical. I'm so proud that today the Beacon Council is led by Rod Miller. He has absolutely energized everything of the Beacon Council. His creative ideas, his innovation, his thoughtfulness, and his collaboration has been well welcomed. And the team he's put together at the Beacon Council is second to none. So we're privileged in the ALC to work so closely with you, Rod, and your leadership. And I'd like to also recognize what we do here, we do because the state of Florida makes significant investments and believes in our able and willing Senator Ana Maria Rodriguez joins us here today. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of us. She is a champion for Miami-Dade County. She has, along with her colleagues, championed live local, work local, everything local to make sure that our businesses here can thrive and that Miami continues to build pathways to economic prosperity. And now, without further ado, I get to introduce a trailblazer, a friend, a champion, someone that I'm not sure that ever sleeps because she is everywhere in this community, whether it's Sundays or Saturdays, it's Mondays through Friday, championing everything that's important. She'll say today she's talking about garbage, but I will tell you that the mayor is always talking about the significant things. When we sat here and we talked about a talent goal for Miami-Dade County, she said, I'm all in. Then she said, I'm not just all in. She got the county commission to support future-ready scholarships. And today, any high school senior that graduates from a public, private, charter school in Miami-Dade County can attend Miami-Dade College tuition-free and earn that associate's degree so that we can build on that talent strategy. When I think about Opportunity Miami and the goals around talent and climate, there hasn't been a greater champion around climate. The first resiliency officer was appointed by her, the heat officer, all kinds of dedicated individuals on the things that will make sure that Miami continues to thrive. And so I'm happy to introduce to you, my friend, welcome up our mayor to the podium to share a few words. Madam Mayor.
So we started right around the same time. So we're sisters in the journey. Yeah. We started together and we're going to stay together. So thank you so very much to my friend and sister, Madeline Pumariega. What an incredible job you are doing here at Miami-Dade College. Let's give it up. You know, and it doesn't hurt that we're the first lady leaders in our respective fields, right? Doesn't hurt. Not a prerequisite, just saying. This is like a dream come true. I actually remember when this first was created a long time ago and was rebirthed and has come back really strong. And so it's just a pleasure to look around and see that we have our academic leaders in the room, plus our community and civic leaders who are animating the path forward. We are defying national trends, I think. First of all, Miami-Dade College is the leading college in the nation, more people attending than any other place, but also apparently people are kind of not feeling so good about college in general around the country. There's sort of this notion that somehow college is not as important as it once was. Well, we know that's not true. We know that it is really the elevator, and that is what has been proven with this college in this place, and I think we are still defying the national trends. So everything that you do here today, all of the great ideas that emerge, the ways that we work collectively to achieve them, we are truly, once again, leaders of the nation. So let's give it up for us because we're always, we're always leading the way. And it's innovation here in the college, it's innovation, it's actually in our DNA. That's what I like to think about it, that innovation is in Miami-Dade County DNA. So I'm honored to be part of this. I'm a kind of a frustrated academician myself, so being part of this council kind of feels like I've maybe slightly arrived, although honestly I haven't been doing as much reading as I should, and I'm especially, you know, I'm a digital immigrant, not a digital native. Y'all remember that term? That was a little while ago. We are celebrating immigrants today. I just came from a great big fair where we're providing services to our immigrants, 50% foreign born in Miami-Dade County, which is incredible. And this college also, again, a great lifter of people who are coming here seeking a better future and contributing to our economy. But I have prided myself on always knowing about the latest and the greatest in technology. But I'm now 69, turned this weekend, very proud 69er. 69er. So now I'm smart enough just to hire smart people. I don't necessarily have to keep up myself because I surround myself with brilliant people. And here today is Chessie De Quesada-Covey. Francesca is her formal name, our Chief of Innovation and Economic Development. Chessie, where are you? There she is, right in front of me. Okay, she is a digital native, and she knows what we're talking about here today. We all know that education and the workforce are essential elements to driving our economy and our social success, not just economic, but social success. And so the role of all of these academic institutions, and by the way, they're all friends. I mean, isn't that special? Like, let's just say that's really important because they get along and they recognize that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And so we're not competing. We each have a role to play. There's plenty enough students to go around. I don't know about faculty, but students, because, you know, we have such low unemployment rates still. So I know we are competing for talent everywhere. But the point is that we need to build our talent base. That is actually the point of the whole thing, because that is what is going to keep us ahead of the curve. And fortunately, everybody wants to live here, so that's helping. But for those who are here, we need to do everything possible to lift them up. And that is the trajectory, our mission. So, Madam President already mentioned about this Future Ready scholarships. So proud about that effort that the county is actually contributing dollars to make sure that people can go tuition-free and get their associate's degree, and we'd love to expand that. That's in the game plan. Also, the South Florida Anchor Alliance, which is working together across public sector and some private hospitals, universities, and others to lift up well-paid jobs. Not just any jobs, well-paid jobs, because we live in an economy that has New York prices but not New York salaries. And we have to really address that. And we were together talking about housing this morning, Senator Ana Maria Rodriguez and I. What a critical issue for all of us. So this group has set an ambitious target. And when we set targets and we set our minds on something, we get things done. So by 2040, we aim to achieve a 65% educational attainment rate. That's an associate's degree or higher. Among adults, this would be a 20% increase from our current 45.5. Can we do it, ladies and gentlemen? We can do it. We definitely can do it. So we position ourselves as a global leader in innovation, business, and social mobility, which we are all of those things. Maybe not everybody knows that yet, but when we put our voices together, everybody will know that we are formidable. And honestly, it's our diversity as well as our determination that makes it very, very possible. You know, I have 4 E's. I'm thinking of what are my D's? Diversity, determination. Come on. Drive. Good. Oh. Data. Okay, we did it. Yay. And dynamism. Okay, we'll go for 5. Okay. Somebody write that down. That's going to be our watchword. But we know to get there, we have challenges. There are glaring gaps in educational attainment, especially among our Black and Hispanic communities. So we can't ignore that, folks. We have to pay attention. You know, this is who we are, and we have to double down. And to close those gaps for every resident will require equitable access to education and career opportunities. And so that's what folks in the room are doing, and another shout out to you, Rick. You so inventive working with us on it, and that the Beacon is also a key partner in this, clearly. It expands beyond education to our economy, to tech advances, and economic changes, and we must remain competitive. So we always have to be agile, and I think this college has proven how agile we are. So there is a stark mismatch. We've got 470,000 open jobs in the county, but only 295,000 employed workers. That's a big gap. So even though, did they announce the rates yet? Did I miss it? The interest rates, weren't they going to announce that today? because they're worried about the softening of the job market and all that. But you know, our job market is still really, really competitive, really, really a challenge. So we have to continue to attract highly educated workers to Miami. We have to nurture our homegrown talent from early childhood, as was mentioned, not going to just start at college age. And we need to upskill and reskill adults through continuous learning. And we're doing all of those things. And particularly in highly competitive demand fields like STEM, AI, and cybersecurity. We've all seen how important those are. So we're going to learn more today about AI. I certainly am. A very important conversation. Thank you to the Beacon Council and Miami-Dade County for bringing thought leaders together for this and other critical topics. We can't do it alone. I'm your collaborator-in-chief. Collaboration, convening, courage. You know, you got a few of those C words going. Critical. So it's critical and crucial that our local initiatives are complemented by statewide. Thank you, Madam Senator and Chairwoman. We have Florida's Sail to 60 and the Lumina Foundation's national efforts to increase degree and certification attainment. We've heard from Lumina as well. So today, in conclusion, I and we call upon all of you to help us meet those ambitious 2040 goals. It will require bold action. We can do it by fostering partnerships, coming together, and having those D words, drive and determination and data. So onward, Miami-Dade County, Miami-Dade College, let's get it done. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you all hear me okay? Do you all feel the energy? This is uniquely Miami energy. I told Dr. Leibowitz, I said, you're in for a ride today because you are at Miami-Dade College in Miami-Dade County with the academic leaders and the leadership from our community. And one of the things, I've been here about a year and a half, one of the things that never ceases to amaze me is not just the energy, but it's this moxie. It's this kind of like, we're going to do it. And when Miami determines that it's going to do something, it does it, period. So I'm very honored to have all of you here today. Yes, yeah, we do it. That's worth the round of applause. We do it if we determine we're going to do something. I'm very honored to be the CEO of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, and really glad to have you all here for this discussion. It's going to be a great discussion. A few highlights that I'll just hit on before we hop into it is, you know, the Beacon Council, we've been around for about 40 years. We are the economic development organization, the public-private partnership charged with driving economic growth in Miami-Dade County. Over the last 40 years, we've helped contribute to over 160,000 new jobs in this economy and billions of dollars of investment. Our mission is to drive an economy that's sustainable, inclusive, and competitive. Sustainable in that, you know, that there is a high level of certainty or clarity or predictability about how the economy operates. No big spikes or big drops, but also sustainable in terms of the built environment. We see that every day. An economy that's inclusive, whether one lives in Hialeah, Miami Gardens, City of Miami, Florida City, it shouldn't matter where they live, what they look like. We want everybody to have all the opportunities that they can for optimum employment and optimum entrepreneurship. And then we want to build an economy that's ultimately competitive. On the face of it, we want our economy to just be better because of the work that we're doing together. This program is, is through our Academic Leaders Council. Our Academic Leaders Council is the leadership of many of the universities here. It's Florida Memorial University, Florida International University, University of Miami, the superintendent of Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Barry University, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention this great institution, Miami-Dade College. We thank Dr. Pumariega for chairing the Academic Leaders Council and for always hosting and being glad to promote the assets of Miami. So thank you, Dr. Pumariega. And of course the thing decides to lock on me, because that's what happens in these moments. But we're going to have a great discussion today about AI, about what's and it doesn't really want to open, about what really is working, what isn't working, and kind of how AI is shifting our future. Just by a show of hands, how many people in the room use AI regularly? When I say regularly, how many of you use it every day? Okay, so we've got the room of the people that really understand this work. So this is going to be a fascinating conversation. I heard someone say I use it for everything, and that's the way I am. I put in ChatGPT maybe a week or so ago. I need to work out. I'm a middle-aged father. I need a workout that's 15 minutes a day because I don't have a lot of time, and I need a diet, and I want to focus on, and it gave me a plan that was just outstanding. Now, that's the most basic level. The stuff, though, that we're going to get today is going to be much, much higher level. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Jay Leibowitz. He's the professor of business innovation and industry transformation at the Edge Center at the Crummer Graduate School of Business at Rollins College. He was previously at Columbia University's Data Science Institute, among other higher education institutes. He was also the first knowledge management officer at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, and he was chair of AI at the U.S. Army War College. We're very fortunate to have him with us. He's published over 45 books, including his most recent ones, Data Analytics and AI, Online Learning Analytics, and Digital Transformation for the University of the Future. So we're very glad to have Dr. Leibowitz with us here today. Dr. Leibowitz, come on up and let's have a great conversation. So Jay and can everyone hear me okay? This mic is not on. Let's see. It says it's on. I'm going to turn it off. What about now? There we go. All right, here we go. So let's hop right into it. Dr. Leibowitz, Jay, can you just tell us a little bit about where AI is today? I mean, one of the things that we were talking about just a few minutes ago was, the fact that many of us think that it's been around 10, 15 years, and you were sharing it's been much longer. Can you just hop right in and tell us a little bit about the evolution of AI and where we are today?
Sure. Yeah, and welcome everyone. It's great to be down south. Took the Bright Line from Orlando. We just moved to Central Florida about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So, but we have family in South Florida, so I know Miami somewhat well, and love to learn more from you all. So anyway, it's funny because we were talking before the lunch about, I would ask my students, how long has AI existed? And they typically say, well, about 10 years. And when I said, well, actually, it was founded back in 1956 by John McCarthy at Stanford. It's almost 70 years old. Their eyes light up. And it's really quite interesting because the whole field, I don't think there's a universal definition for AI. The way I look at it is that the field of AI has two main goals. The first is to develop intelligent computer power to kind of supplement our human brain power. So I'm not saying to replace, but to supplement. And then the other main goal is really to help us better understand how we think and reason and learn. So there's a cognitive psychology part of the field which you may not often hear about. So anyway, I was saying that I was fortunate to be involved in the AI field in the early days, starting in the around 1980, 81, where expert systems were kind of just developing, and then were gaining commercial interest in the 90s. And expert systems are computer programs that emulate the behavior of human experts in very well-defined areas. So for those maybe in the healthcare area, meningitis, was one of the first applications to diagnose, use an expert system to diagnose meningitis at Stanford, and there are many applications. But over the years, there really has been the springs and the winters where AI funding had dried up because there was a lot of hype, and there still might be some hype even today. And so a lot of the early funding was done by the defense agencies, and I'm a Washingtonian, so it really hurt, I think, the whole advancement of this field. And so, bring it to today, the question is, what's so unique about AI, right? Which it's been around for so many years. Why is it so hot now? And I think I have the answer, and you probably all already know it. But let me ask one question. What was the killer app for the PC, would you say? There might have been two. So what was the killer app for the PC? What's that? Okay, so word processing and maybe spreadsheets, right? So I think now the killer app, we never had a killer app for AI, but I have a feeling it's Gen AI. And why do I say that? Okay, whatever you read, and I even brought just some recent publications, the Harvard Business Review from this fall has a special issue, How to Thrive in a Gen AI World. If that wasn't enough for you, you can go to Barnes & Noble and Improve Your Life with ChatGPT.
Oh, wow.
116 pages of practical tips and prompts. We won't go over all those. And then closer to Orlando, the Orlando Business Journal, about 2 weeks ago, the cover story was all in on AI. And I know a few of you are from Central Florida, or maybe has spent some time at Rollins or the Crummer Graduate School. And so everyone knows that the simulation and modeling, computer modeling industry is very key in the Orlando area. So there's been tremendous development, and even this particular journal talked about using AI for cancer detection. So there's just tremendous amount of work that's been done. So I don't have much real intelligence. My wife has all that. I went the artificial intelligence route. So I just kind of wanted to set, kind of the terminology, and I think you have a cheat sheet too for those who may not be too familiar with AI. So we circulated a cheat sheet.
It's really interesting. I mean, we're at Miami-Dade College's Idea Center, and of course, right around the corner is its AI campus, the first in the states to offer the bachelor's degree in AI. But we see this thing both at the local school level as well as at universities, that there is this tension about the usage of AI, both on the side of faculty as well as on the side of students. Can you provide some additional context in terms of kind of what we're seeing and kind of what the opportunity really is for academic institutions to fully leverage it?
Yeah, so, and I know we have a number of university presidents here, which is great. It's, I think we're at a stage now where a lot of institutions, especially higher ed institutions and secondary schools, and and other types of educational institutions, are wrestling with various policies now. My personal view is you might as well use the tools that are available to you. What we say is that it's really in terms, let's say, of your job. It's not that you're going to be ultimately replaced by AI. Okay, maybe certain assembly line workers, with pick and place robots, but then you need people to help maintain the robots. So, AI can also create many new jobs. So it's really, I think the people who are at risk are those who don't use these AI tools that might be accessible and available to them. So, so even at our campus, at Rollins College, we have an AI liberal arts task force, and we have folks from philosophy to English to environmental sciences to computer science who are trying to help the provost. I know we have at least one provost here from Florida Memorial on the academic fair side to try to determine, what would be a proper policy across the institution, and then even to provide a standardized suite of tools. So I think most people now, when they think of AI, they just think about Gen AI systems. So whether you use ChatGPT or you use Claude or Gemini, by Google, or we have Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. But AI really goes beyond that. But the Gen AI movement, I think, is so important. There were some recent studies done. One was by Harvard, MIT, and Wharton at Penn. And they took a look at the consultants, hundreds of consultants at the Boston Consulting Group, and to see how they were using their Gen AI tools. And it turned out that those who had used the Gen AI tools and related systems were able to improve their productivity by 40% over those who didn't. So, I mean, there's just there's just tremendous interest in this whole area. There's on the education side, Rod, a book came out this year. It's called Teaching with AI. So Jose Bowen and then Edward Watson, they're with the AAC&U, the American Association of Colleges and Universities. So if you're interested on kind of the pedagogy part of AI, it's a great book. And so they talk about the 3 R's. So I'm an old timer here, so I think of reading, writing, and arithmetic. They said no, the 3 R's now are relationships. So how do you build the relationships with the community? And we've talked and heard opening comments about setting up relationships with public-private partnerships, getting industry, NGOs, and the universities involved. And then the second R is really resilience, so adaptability, and then reflection, so instant feedback without judgment. So, I think there's a lot of interest. I have to make mention, and keep me on
Please.
Keep me on task, because these professors could start to ramble. But because we have some of the college presidents here, there was a Board of Trustees survey that I located, and it was done in the U.S., and they were looking 10 years out. And more than 40% of the trustees from the study said they're very concerned about the future of higher ed, and specifically extremely interested on how AI can contribute to higher education. So, so my personal view is that some of the institutions, I know at Miami, they recently advertised a chief AI officer position. I learned at Barry there's something similar, and I think more of that is needed in order to develop AI strategies across educational institutions. Touro University, which is based in New York City, they're worldwide. Back in January, they hired a associate provost for AI, and they are trying to infuse AI across their 36 programs over their 18 campuses. In New Jersey, Governor Murphy of New Jersey has created an AI kind of investment portfolio, and they're working with Princeton to have a 500,000 AI-focused global entrepreneur in residence program at the state universities in New Jersey, like at Rutgers. created a $2 million fund for AI education in K through 12, and also created a $4.5 million AI Innovation Challenge career development program. So you're seeing more and more of this. Connecticut also wants to be the first state to have a Citizens AI Academy where there's a repository of free AI courses across the state. And even where I worked this past summer in Governor Shapiro's office in Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth has been looking also very closely at how AI is a key role not only in education but in workforce development. So it's probably more than you wanted to hear.
No, that's great. I mean, one of the things is, you know, what we're seeing, and I think you just highlighted prime examples of it, is that communities that want to win are trying to figure out how do they leverage this, how do they make, what are the smart investments that they need to make in AI to move things forward. One of the things that we know in economics is that every time that there is one of these innovations at this sort of scale, that there are communities that advance incredibly rapidly. Other communities are completely left behind. We know that there are people that make a lot of money and that there are others that are kind of left in the dust. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing, or what are some of the opportunities to really think about the question of, you know, inclusion, and how do we ensure that different facets of our community are able to take advantage of the AI revolution?
Yeah, and it's especially important, as you were pointing out earlier, you know, in your region here. So just a couple data points, and I have to apologize. As you get older, there are three things that happen to you. The first is you tend to forget, and the second and third things I don't remember. So I know there are fact checkers in the room, so I just want to make sure that I have the right numbers for some of the research studies. So just for a couple data points, the World Economic Forum, based in Switzerland, has done a number of the future jobs reports, and they recently found that they believe that 6 out of 10 workers need to be educated or trained in AI over the next 4 years. More recently, Forbes had an article, I think back on September 9th, and they found from one of the studies that they cited that more than 77% of the people surveyed, so typical, you know, people in the workforce, feel that they don't have enough training in AI. And there was another study cited that employers, I think it was about 72% of the employers, said they had provided the right training for their employees, but about half of their employees said no. So there's a disconnect there. And the kinds of things I think that you all are doing, I learned in the Miami-Dade school system with having the Academy for Teachers to learn about AI and having a cohort and then infusing AI into the various schools, at least on a pilot basis, and you roll that out. I think that's, you know, phenomenal. So I think part of the challenge is, you know, having the right set of programs. So we talk about reskilling and upskilling, and to, you know, look across all, you know, different populations to address some of those concerns. And so I think we need to continue to stress lifelong learning programs. We will also see, to aid, there's a lot of work that's been done in creating AI chatbots. So even we talked a little bit about maybe having an AI concierge service for Miamians to learn a little more about what's happening here. And you're going to see more and more of that. And